Welcome, everybody.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you all for joining us again on our show. I keep forgetting to tell you people this, but if we're on YouTube, so please like, share, and subscribe. I keep forgetting.
YouTube channel with the same name.
YouTube channel with the same name. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay. Yes. And we are doing our candidate series. It's election time again, midterm elections, that is. Mm-hmm. And so there's several local several local elections, and then we also have big elections, which are like our governors and senators. Some of them are up for re-election. In the state of Florida, we have our governor and one of our senators up for re-election that we all believe have to go. So, well, I mean, let me talk about myself. I believe they both have to roll. Okay, Marco Rubio got to go, and DeSantis has to go too. So that's for me and me alone. I'm not talking for nobody else.
It's almost all of the candidates who ran during the special election, they're all running again.
All up for election.
The ones who were appointed, if they want to keep those seats, they have to run again. So there are a lot more elections this midterm than it would have normally been, because so many people, especially those who ran for that District 20 seat, I think it's about like at least 5, maybe up to 8 seats that are vacant because of the candidates that went in, that were part of that race. So yeah, their seats are open. District 20 has to run again, even though they just got sworn in earlier this year. So yeah,
in some districts
and all the state reps, the state senate, all of those seats are open again.
And then because we had some district mapping, some of those district numbers changed. I think it's not many, maybe 3 or 4 changed. And like Sandra said, they're all up for re-election again, even the ones that were appointed.
A couple county commissioners, 2 of the county commissioners that left, their seats are up. One of them would have been up anyway, and the other one, because they left early, that seat is up. So I think it's 8 and 9, districts 8 and 9, which the numbers might have changed on those two. I'm not sure, but those
there are other commission seats that are open still. There's like 6, because we're going to have a candidate from District 6, a candidate from District 8, right? So there's a few. But we are here today with
there's one other point we got to make about elections. So depending on which city you live in Broward, you have to go to your city's website to get information on getting the ballots about those candidates, because apparently the supervisor of election doesn't have the name of all the people that are running in every city in Broward County. So whatever city you're in, check your city's website so you can find out who's running for what seats that are open, like city commission and those types of things. So
because we did have the city of North Lauderdale mayor who was running for re-election last time, and she would not be on the Broward SOE website. Only the county, like the county-wide seats, like seats that are county-wide, they tend to have, but not the ones with the cities. So there's 31 cities, and whoever lives in whatever city, make sure you check your websites to see who is running and who is up for a re-election in your city. That's who will be on your ballot. All right, so we have another candidate for school board. So there's about 6 seats open for school board, right? 6 districts. So we've had some sprinkle. We have some District 5 people. We've had Rod Velez here before, but that was way in the beginning. So now we want to give him an
He announced early. He let y'all know early he wanted to.
He was like, yo, I'm here. So we have him back again because we want to remind everyone that, you're running for District 1, right, Rod?
Yeah,
correct.
So District 1. So we're going to talk to him again, and listen, people evolved. Okay, so we want to see what the evolution was from when we talked to him until we talked to him today. And then next week we have a whole week jam-packed with candidates. We have one on Monday, we have one on Wednesday, and we have one on Friday, right? Yes. So 2 county commissions and 1 school board, which would be District 5. There's a bunch of people in District 5. And a bunch of people in District 6. We haven't heard from the District 6 people, but we're here.
Escobar. Jamie was from.
Oh, that's right. District 6. Yes, Escobar was on there. That's true. I think Escobar likes Rod because he was like, ding, 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 ding. All right, they probably friends, but we'll ask y'all. Okay, so we're gonna introduce Rod and let Rod, introduce himself, talk a little bit about who he is, why he's running, and then we're gonna ask him some questions. You got the floor.
Sure. Thank you for having me tonight. Again for your show. I just want to say my name is Rod Velez. I am running for school board in District 1. which covers all of Hollywood, Dania, Hallandale, West Park, Pembroke Park, a little bit of Miramar, and a little bit of Pembroke Pines. I come from humble beginnings. I was born in Key West. My household was biracial. My mom is white. My dad is Puerto Rican. I was 6 years old when they separated. And my mom raised my sister and I in low income housing as a single mother. She worked hard to put a roof over our heads and food on the table for us. For the past 13 years, I've been a property manager for Continental Fidelity Corporation. I'm a property manager for a company that owns over 100 properties around the country from coast to coast. It's my job to make sure that they're maintained and are not falling apart. I've been fortunate enough to be able to provide a comfortable life for my family. As a leader in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts for the last 6 years, I've been enjoying that, and I enjoyed being a mentor to the kids and being an active participant in our community. I believe that my life experiences, struggles, and successes put me in a good position to relate to many of the parents and students in District 1 and act as a role model for many of the young people that face similar challenges today. I've been married to my wife, Judy, for over 21 years now. I'm the father of 3 boys, 2 of which are currently students in the Broward County Public School System. And I have always been proactively involved in my children's schooling. As a candidate for school board, my platform is centered around a kids first agenda. Kids tend to get forgotten about, even though you're running for a school board race in a school system. Politics take precedence, and that just has to stop. I want to provide help to the students with first class education that they deserve. I want to help provide Broward students with a first class. I want to give the teachers the tools and the policies that they need to be successful. I want a safe, inclusive environment for our children, teachers, staff, and protect everyone from internal and external threats. And especially knowing, what happened in Texas last week, it just keeps going. I want to improve the communication with our community and transparency. I want to use my 20 years plus experience in construction to bring the smart bond back to the place that it needs to be. It started off at $800 million, and now it's over $1.4 billion and exceeding several years beyond the schedule of completion. I just want to say that every decision that comes across my desk when I get in is going to have one thing consistent across the board, and is it going to benefit the kids in my district and students across the county? The decisions that I make aren't just going to affect District 1. They will affect the entire 260 something thousand kids throughout the district. And that's my kids first agenda.
Awesome. All right. So you want to start out with the questions, co-host, or you want me to? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
So sorry, I'm talking, right? So no, you said a lot. You talked about the things that you want to do. I hear you talk about what you want to do with teachers, a safe environment, both internal and external. You want to make sure communication is important, and and that you're acknowledging that the decision that you make is not only going to impact, District 1. It'll be something that whatever decision you guys come together, agree on as a board is going to impact the entire county, even though there will be some things that you may want to do for your district specifically. But one of the things that I think is that I wanted to ask, since you talked about communication, is like if there, and plus you saying that you're having a kids first agenda, people go to the board for all different reasons, even though all roads are supposed to lead to what's best for the students in Broward County, right? How would you be able to get board members to get on board to do something that you would think that's best for students in Broward County? Like what experience that you have in terms of getting consensus building and getting people to work together? Because we've seen a fractured board before. So what types of experience that you have that you can do some consensus building to get the best outcome for the students in Broward County?
Well, I think the biggest thing I have to do is lead by example. I have to show other districts what I do in my district that works, hopefully. That's what I'm going to strive for. I can sit here and talk all day long about what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. I'm a person of action. So I just feel by showing what I'm going to do is the best way that I can do it. And that'll just show everyone else that it could actually work, and just try to give them hope that there's a chance and possibility that we can change things around in this district.
Okay.
Okay. So we, as you know, we've been talking to a lot of candidates. So one of the things that we've been asking is your top 3 priorities. If you are chosen to be the representative for District 1, what are your top 3 priorities for the school board or the district that you believe will take center stage once you take office?
I believe I have a unique district. There's 20 elementary schools and 19 of them are Title I schools. We know that Title I schools, you have to have at least 40% of the students that are either free or reduced lunch that apply to qualify. That's a lot of schools in a district. I have 54 schools total. That's combination centers, and that's with high schools as well. So I think that's something I have to focus on getting a communication across with the parents with different demographics that are in my district. I got to be able to get the information out in ways that everyone can understand. I don't know if that answered your question, but
yeah. So your first priority is the communication. So you want better communication within the district. Do you believe that the communication currently is not up to par in terms of reaching the parents in your district?
There's a lot of factors in that I've been finding out. We have wrong phone numbers, there's wrong emails, there's not a lot of follow-up. A lot of times you don't know because they're not calling the schools because there's not an issue. So they'll assume, that the information that was given to them at the beginning of the year is still current. And sometimes it's just a matter of not updating the database, or it's just a matter of not being consistent. I think we have to try harder to get a hold of parents in every situation, and not just make one single attempt. Nowadays, you have cell phones with you can text, you can call, you can leave a voicemail, you can email. There's a lot of ways to get a hold of people. So I feel that that's still lacking in the district. And I know that our District 1 school board member, even throughout COVID, has been pretty quiet. And those are the times that I feel that you really need to stand up as a leader and be there for your constituents. And she's been non-existent. And that's something I feel strongly about, the communication part. Just responding to emails, getting back to people. Even now, I have my personal cell phone out there, my own email. I've had my cell phone for over 25 years now. I didn't just create a new number just to run for candidacy. So I just feel communication is important. And we have to do a better job at that, no matter what area, no matter what the demographic is, we have to do a better job.
And is there bilingual communication from the school? Like, how is it? Do you communicate in different languages, or is everything sent out in English?
From what I understand, it depends what the setting is, and I know that they will attempt to have someone that speaks whichever language it could be, whether it's Spanish, Creole, French, Italian, just whichever language. I understand that they're supposed to have someone reach out to them. I know they have sent robocalls out because I've heard them, even though I don't speak Creole. I've gotten a few Creole calls. So I do know that it's out there, and this is just something more recent that's come to light.
Right. And I know particularly during COVID when they were trying to get students and everybody back into schools, I think that's when the school system realized how the information that they had on a lot of the students was not up to date. Some of the addresses were wrong, the phone numbers, the emails, because I knew someone who was working on a project trying to contact folks. So so COVID, there was a lot of bad things that came out of COVID, but there were some good things that came out too, that they realized that they needed to update that information in their database and also find different ways to communicate. Because sending, because I was getting emails all the time. But I come from, my parents are Haitian. I came from a Creole speaking. Sending my mother email would have meant absolutely nothing. She would have never got it, wouldn't have seen it. So they realized that they had to be different ways to communicate. So that definitely is an issue. And I think that was one of the things that COVID really brought to the forefront. One of the things I heard you say was that you have 20 elementary schools in your area and over 50 schools, period, right? A couple of the candidates that we spoke to, closing low enrollment schools is something that probably needs to be a reality, or definitely something that needs to be a conversation, right? Because we have schools that are open, they have low enrollment, and from my understanding, and the funding at the school depends on how many students that are there. So you have schools that are open and basically running at a deficit. I don't know how they make that work, but they make it work because the number's not there. So what are there any low enrolled schools with low enrollment in your area? And would you be one of those board members if it became necessary that you had to make a decision on closing some of those schools? What would that look like for you? Is that something you would consider, or what are your thoughts on that?
So, right now, people are moving down here in droves. I don't know too many houses that are empty for that long. So with that being said, that tells me that people are moving into areas. So if there are low enrollment schools, there's a lot of things. They're being neglected. The demographics probably play a part in it. You have to put the awareness out that like Apollo Middle or Olson or some of these buildings are actually newer, and a lot of them have been renovated. And I know there's talk of low enrollment. I know they tried to do I think it was Hollywood Central last year. They tried to make that a combination school, and it was shot down because of enrollment. I think it's the communication part, and just the fact that it's got to do with the bond money. It took them several years to demolish the vacant building over at Olson. You had this abandoned building sitting there that was dangerous for many years, and they just finally completed it. And that could have been done. There's no excuse for it. I want to get in there and use my construction background to just improve these areas. People want to come and move to an area knowing that there's a strong school system. And if they don't feel it, they're going to try to move their kids somewhere else. We're losing a lot of kids to charter schools and private schools. We get roughly $8,000 per kid, when they do the count, towards the end of the year. That's a lot of money, so I think those are some of the things that we need to do to do improvements in the schools.
Okay. So you talked about communication being one of your top priorities. Do you have, because I asked you about for 3, do you have any two other priorities that you believe that your district is in need of, or that you would want to highlight if you are elected? I
still feel the safety part of it. I've been around several schools, and I'm very observant. I noticed some schools that, I weigh 175 pounds and I'm short and stocky, but I can still roll over some fences. And to me, that's concerning as a parent. That just tells me that the single point entry doesn't really exist everywhere. We have to do a better job of securing these schools. I'm not saying to lock them in to where they can't get out in case there's a fire or any emergency like that, but we just need to do a better point of making a single point of entry, for these schools. I think that's something that's still lacking. as we can attest to in Texas, there was an open door, the kid got in and did what he did.
They updated
not
today.
acceptable.
It wasn't open, it was unlocked.
Right.
Potato. Okay.
Right. No, but he got in regardless. So yeah, you're right.
Yes, he did.
So and then we have the mental aspect of it. That still is held over from COVID. A lot of these kids aren't getting the necessary help they need to get. So the mental health, and especially in our District 1 schools, where the economics are lower, when you have more government assistance, you have a lot of single family homes, and I know what that's like growing up. I didn't have someone at home. I didn't have my grandmother to babysit me when my mom was out working 2 jobs. I wasn't that fortunate. So the mental health aspect of it is something huge for everybody. We have to make sure that bullying stops. It doesn't matter what school, it could be any school in any area, and there's still bullying in some sort of way going on. So we need to take care of all those issues internally with the school system. I can go on forever. I mean, if you go on my website, I have a whole list of issues, and it just goes on forever.
All right. I want to talk about a couple of the things you said, but I don't want you to. Were you going to move on to 3? Because I wanted to follow up on.
He already gave us 3: communication, safety, and mental. So.
Oh, okay.
You said mental health, right, Rod? Because you were talking about the mental health aspect.
Okay. So I want to follow up on one of the things you. It's kind of along the lines of what you're saying. So one of the Florida, after Stoneman Douglas, basically allowed teachers to carry guns in schools, right? I think so our county decided not to do that, right? So we just had this situation that happened in Texas last week, and that conversation is starting all over again. Is that something that if it came to the board, which the school board can make it, Broward County School Board can make a decision if they want to allow teachers to carry guns in the classroom to protect students, is that something that you would vote on in support?
I don't think that's going to be the solution. Why have the teacher do another job that they're already being overworked as it is? They need to focus on what they need to focus on, which is helping our kids get to a level that they need to get to educational wise. They don't need to be focusing on, being the psychologist, the guidance counselor, and, playing the parental role, which is a lot of things they do on a normal basis anyway. I think that we have to get the funds and get more school resource officers and make sure they're just properly vetted, make sure they're educated, they have the proper training. So you don't have 9 or 10 police officers outside during an active shooting incident, and they're just kind of waiting to go in. It's uncalled for. I mean, that state, they just did some exercises, what I understand, previously in the previous weeks, and yet it still happened. We just have to do a better job. We're the 6th largest district in the nation. We have over 30,000 employees, over a $4 billion annual budget in Broward County. We're the largest employer in the county. So I think we can make room to find some money to get more protection in the schools other than the teachers. The teachers just need to worry about teaching. We need to get the proper protocols in place.
So you would advocate for more resource officers in schools? Absolutely.
Look, there's fathers that want to get involved. I'm sorry.
Do you think more police officers would be the answer?
That would be a good deterrent. And if you had the right police officers or SROs in place that actually were properly trained, you don't want to get someone that's a year out from retiring. There's a lot of Army vets out there that are looking for work. There's a lot of dads that are even stepping up now to patrol schools free. They could just do the proper interviews, make sure that these parents and ex-military that are looking to help, that want to do good things to keep our schools safe. I understand that it was an off-duty border patrol officer in Texas that was able to subdue and take down the kid in Texas. It wasn't one of the police officers that was there. It was someone that's at the school, you know, and it's a sad situation that happened that way. It shouldn't have been, you know, him the one taking care of that. It should have been the police officers that are paid to do their job.
One of the things you talked about too was the bullying has to stop, right? And I agree with you on that. However, we have a lot of examples of adults with power that are being bullies, right? Just constantly, right? You know, it seemed like decorum and appropriate behavior by adults is no longer the standard. At least, you know, when I was growing up, some of the things that I see grown folks doing right now, I'm like, whoa, I did not know, you know, grown-ups behave that way, right? So how is it that you think we can stop the bullying in school if it seems as though bully grown-ups are the ones that's getting all of the airtime and that conduct is being normalized?
And you can use the examples of when we had the mask issue, and Broward County was one of the leading counties to make sure that they wanted to protect kids, and you had parents coming out here bullying school board members. So, and
we have elected officials that are, you know, bullying too.
So.
Well, there's something that we've all kind of lost over the past several years. I don't know when it ended, but accountability. You know, the consequences for our actions, being held accountable for our actions, that's something that's not existing anymore. So when you don't have that accountability, you know, people just don't care. There's a lack of respect for teachers. There's a lack of respect for workers, you know, co-workers, the adults. You know, it trickles down. You know, we have to be role models for our kids. And if our kids see us acting like bullies, they're going to think it's normal and it's okay. But it's not. We have to do better as adults, all of us. You know, there's a lack of respect that is just existing these days, and it's pretty sad that it's gotten to this. But we just, I mean, for me, I feel we have to hold everyone accountable. If I mess up, I want Narnique to call me out and hold me accountable. I want Sandra to hold me accountable. Will I like it? You know, but it'll make me think, you know, I shouldn't have screwed up. Maybe next time I make a better decision. You know, but that'll keep me thinking. But if I go into a situation and I feel I can say whatever I want without any consequence or being held accountable, then it's going to escalate to something pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree. So just to wrap up, your top things are communication. You wanted better communication throughout the district. Safety, you believe that safety and security, like you did a tour, I'm assuming, of your district, and you noticed that some schools' single point of entry could be better, needs work. And then the third thing you mentioned was your one of your top priorities is mental health and trying to, you know, so when you say, and you talked about the bullying, but also did you talk about, when you say mental health, are you looking to make sure, because I know we're like, in terms of staff, like we are so below. We have teachers, you know, guidance counselors, even front office staff. We don't, you know, the district as a whole is losing a lot. So in terms of mental health, I know we need more counselors and we need more guidance counselors and stuff like that. So what if it came to the board and did you have to, and I think there's a referendum. Isn't there a referendum on this?
It's coming up in August, right?
Coming up in August, right? And that referendum is for what? That is what kind of money?
It's staff pay, teacher and staff pay. That's the majority of the money. We're still trying to get a breakdown from the school board, not the school board, but the supervisors and the ones that are in charge of that. We've been asking for that, a simple page of the breakdown in the money, where it's being allocated to, if it's ESE or, you know, which departments are, how much are they getting, you know, how much is going to the teachers and staff, and, you know,
many of the school board candidates like yourself and others are really pushing the mental health and really pushing the fact that we need more counselors to do counseling jobs in the schools. And so you don't know, they haven't given you a breakdown if the referendum has any allocation towards counselors.
Not a specific number, no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing specific, and again, it goes back to my word of respect. You know, a lot of those people, I'm on several committees, and it's volunteer work. And what I find across the board is the respect factor as well. With not only is it lost with teachers, but it's lost with volunteers. You know, we're giving our time to do the research and to try to come up with solutions, and yet, you know, they're not listening to the ideas, and they're dismissing a lot of the ideas that are being brought to them, or they're just not listening. So you have to have parent involvement, and it's just not happening. You know, it's just due to that lack of respect that they have now. And again, it's something that's been building up over the last several years.
Can you clarify that? You said there needs to be parental involvement, and something about lack of respect. Like, what do you mean?
So I'm on a few boards, and just the district advisory committee for the district. I'm on that board, and there's a lot of policies that they try to improve, and there's been a few policies they've been trying to pass since 2017 that haven't gotten through, and it's the school board that went to the DAC committee to try to push them through, and it still hasn't been pushed through yet. They have their own agenda, and they're not being
school board members aren't voting on the whatever the recommendations are. Like, what do you say is pushed through? Who's not pushing it through? The school board's not approving.
It's not getting to them in the proper way. It's the red tape that is existing right now.
So in that committee, right? Is that what you mean?
Well, it's the committee, and when it gets, so it goes through the committee to present to them. So if it's not approved in the way that they want it, then it's not going to pass or change.
Okay.
So and I say parents because most of those people that are on these committees are volunteers. None of them get paid. And they, you know, I'm there on a Wednesday night, missing time with my family, just like everybody else that's in that room, when I could be relaxing. I could be watching a Miami Heat game when they were on, and I could be relaxing and just chilling with my family and enjoying myself. But yet I choose to be in a room where I don't feel appreciated, and the rest of the room is not feeling appreciated. And that's something common right now.
Who's not appreciating them? The other committee members or the board member? Who's not showing the appreciation?
It's the school staff. It's some school board members. You know, it's the higher ups that are getting paid. And when you volunteer, and I volunteer for Scouts for the past 7 years, and you feel that you're not appreciated for doing something free, even though it's for my children, and that's the only reason I'm still doing it, is for my kids, it hurts, you know, because you're trying to do a good thing, and you're not doing it for money or anything else, but just for your kids, and you just don't feel that appreciation.
And I completely understand, because I'm on the diversity committee, and I completely understand what you're talking about. Although the staff that works with us are pretty good and tend to follow the group, but we do get some resistance when you do get up to the part where the board has to approve whatever you're bringing before them. And it gets kind of dicey. So you're right. The higher ups are kind of like the hindrance, so to speak, where that is concerned. And we do it for free. These advisory committees on the school board are all appointed by parents, by board members, right? So everybody's volunteering their time. And I totally understand where you're talking about, where that is concerned. And I know it does get frustrating at some points, because you're trying to get things done, and then the school board members are either like, they fickle about things, and one person's okay with it while 3 other people are not, and then you got to go back to the drawing board. So I get it. I totally understand what you mean by that.
I mean, when you have the facility task force chair being gagged, basically, and it's her job to do the research and bring back the issues to the school board, and they're not allowing her to talk in front of the board, there's something very wrong there. You know, it can't happen.
But she's also running for office, right? She's running for District 5 as well.
District 5, correct.
So do you have another question, co-host? Because I was going to go into the superintendent question.
You can go ahead with the superintendent question.
All right. So I've been shouting into the mountaintops how I did not like how the superintendent got her job. Okay. In the beginning, they were told that whoever came for the interim position was not going to be able to apply for the permanent position. Then the school board decided that they wanted to change their minds where that was concerned. And I think that that was the wrong thing to do, because there were other candidates during the time that were qualified. I felt like missed the opportunity, because now you've changed it where, she gets to get the bite at the apple for a second time. So, and it wasn't just me. There's a lot of people in the community that was not happy about that. So my question to you is that as a school board member, you are placed in this position to serve the people. And if you present information and you present a policy, and the policy is for the people, then you decide you want to change it because for whatever reason, organizational standpoint, we trying to get somebody in because we've been in limbo for too long, whatever. But the people should have a voice, right? And the people should be able to say how they feel about it. As a school board member, number one, the question I'm going to ask is, what do you think about the superintendent and how if she's doing well, or how well she's doing, or whatever the case is? And then the second question is, as a member, when you see something like that happening or whatever, what would be your vote? How would you approach it, or how would you deal with that in terms of knowing your district and how?
So my take on the superintendent, it's hard to judge someone that when they were around for a few months. I felt that we needed a change in culture in the school board with the superintendent.
Are you talking about the last one or the one that's here now?
Just a change period. I didn't really have any problems with superintendent. Yeah, I didn't have any problems with him. I just want to hold people accountable. When they do something wrong, they need to be held accountable for that.
What is it that you think he did wrong?
I don't know that he did anything wrong. I just know that I didn't find anything wrong because I didn't do that research. So I can't speak on that. I can, speculate, but I haven't been around long enough. I'm new to the game. So he's been around for over 10 years, and this is going on my second year. So I can't really speak on that. But what I can speak on is the new superintendent. I know a lot of people are displeased with her, and I'm hard to a point where I feel that she does need more than 6 months to try to do her job. I do want to see some heads roll. I expect to see that. I want to see some changes that are in the positive. I'm not going to give her as much time as I would somebody else. That would, if Gall got in or some of the other people that got in, she's had some extra time. So she's got a little bit less time on my list. I give her 2 years, to see something done. And I've said that before. It's out there. I'm not going to change my opinion now. I don't want to change, the head of the captain of the ship right now, because it's just we've been through too much as a school district. And I think we need some kind of stability right now. I just know that I have to hold her accountable. And when the time comes, if I feel that she's not doing a good job, and if the vote does come, then I'll have her removed, or I'll suggest for her to be removed. But if I feel she's doing an adequate job, then I'll vote to keep her.
Okay, so you said you'll give her about 2 years to that something has to be done. What is that something that needs to be done that you would want to see her accomplish, or at least lay a good foundation for within the next 2 years?
I know there are too many chiefs in the school system.
What does that mean, too many chiefs? I don't understand.
There. If you look at the positions, there are people that there's multiple people basically in the same positions getting paid money that could be paid for a teacher salary or some other salary. There's a lot of assistants.
You believe the school board is top heavy?
Yeah. Not the school board itself, because not the members themselves, but I'm just saying all of the, everything below, if you look,
it's top heavy. It's top heavy. All the top.
There's a lot of assistants. There are too many assistants. There might be 2 people that are in charge of one department, or I just think there's a lot of money that's being wasted right now. And it could be spent for better things. Like I said, it's a $4 billion a year budget. That's a lot of money. I think we could do better. We have a teacher shortage now. Students are leaving left and right. There's a lot of teachers retiring this year. We got to do better by them. We need to raise their pay. We need to figure out a way to bring them back. And that's something that, she's got to do. She's got to figure that out, because without our teachers, our kids aren't going to learn anything.
And the teacher pay is something that always seems to come up, right? And I know the first year teachers got a significant raise. So the incoming teachers, they're making $47,000, $48,000, which to me is not bad. I went to law school, went into public service, and and students that are coming out, that law school graduates coming out that's doing what I did, are making like $50,000. So they're making $2,500 more than a teacher. So I think the starting salary, especially if you're a young person, may not be that bad. I think it's the ones that are like in the middle, right? That maybe been teaching 8, 10, 15 years or whatever, that, all they're getting is a cost of living or a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So when we're talking about teachers' salary, how do you think the board can make that equitable, right? Because everyone's talking about they want to give teachers more money.
Equity, right.
How much more money are you trying to give them, and who is it that you're trying to give the money to? Because there are people, because I have a colleague. Well, I have way too many teachers in my life. I know a whole bunch of them, and some of them are making about the same amount as the new teachers that are coming in, and they've been in the school system like 20 years. You know what I mean? And they're like, they talk about more money. Those young, I've been here 20 years, and I'm making almost the same as someone else. So when paying teachers more, I keep hearing this. What does that look like to you, and how are you going to rectify that and make that equitable?
I mean, I know when DeSantis, said that he was going to make the teachers the top 5 in the nation or something in pay, but that's the newer
talk.
teachers.
I don't think he can handle that.
But I'm saying that happened with the newer teachers coming in, and then the ones that put in the time and the ones that have sacrificed all these years, they're getting screwed, and it's not right. I don't have a formula right now. I know it's not right. And when the time comes, I'll sit down with the people that I need to sit down with, and that can make decisions, and that can figure out a way to take money from the supervisors and bring it to the teachers and staff. I mean, the staff needs to be paid as well. We have custodians, we have bus drivers, we have cafeteria workers. All of them are underpaid and underappreciated.
So the supervisors need to get paid less in order for the teachers and everybody else to get paid more?
It's not about getting less. No,
if you're going to take away from their money, then they're going to get paid less.
What I said before is, when you have multiple supervisors in one position or multiple assistants in a position that are in the higher ups, like Narnik said, we have to do a better job in shrinking that and working more efficiently without having that budget. You don't need 5 people.
So that may mean that some of them may lose their jobs. It's hard to fire state employees or county employees, so that they might get reassigned somewhere else, and then to try to take away their pay. I don't know how you gonna do that.
I'm gonna upset a lot of people. I'm gonna make a lot of people happy, and I'm gonna upset a lot of people. I know it. Just like you ladies do. You're loved out there, and then there's people that talk that smack about you. But that's okay.
I know that. People don't like us.
We got hateration.
When you speak the truth, people fear you.
Haters. Okay. Well, that's
you hate us. We good. But you're right. Like when you're coming in, when people come in and they're trying to fix something, you some people feelings are gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? There might be cuts that are gonna have to be made. So you're definitely not gonna be popular with many folks, particularly the ones that may have to, get reassigned or, some adjustment in pay in order for them to keep their employment. Because, when You come in, even though they, yes, it's a public institution, but at the end of the day, it is a business, right? It is you're in a business.
30,000 employees,
folks, but it's a business, so you got to run it as a business.
And the school board members are the business side of the district. It is what it is, right? So I don't know about the rearrangement of the top heavy people, but I do know that the school board members need to be able to go up to Tallahassee and lobby for more funds. And I think you're in a position where you would have to go up and really kind of, beg, scrounge, whatever you got to do to get some more funds to bring down and funnel through, and then move as you move forward in terms of the district. Maybe the board needs to discuss how the hiring things will be and the pay scale for these top heavy people. Because I do agree with you that you shouldn't have multiple assistants, but you also have to. There was something that caused this multiple assistant type stuff that's going on in the district, so that needs to be addressed. You know what I mean? Like in terms of why one person has two assistants to do one doggone job. So I mean, that's another thing.
Nepotism. I mean, there's a lot of things we can say.
Friends. I get it. No, nepotism. I get it. No, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you. I see right through all of that. I get it. But you're one person of 9, and you got to get everybody on board. And I think one of the clear things, like Sandra mentioned early on, is that the board is not a cohesive board. It's not there's always these this good cop, bad cop group. One group votes one way, one group votes another way. Things can never get through. And so it's important that, going into it, you understand that those dynamics, and then try to come up with a way to collaborate and bring some cohesiveness.
I mean, they are changing the system, though. You can look into it. Starting at the top, there's some charts out there they're rearranging. They're going to have, like they used to have, area superintendents. Is something they're bringing back. So they're trying to eliminate a lot of positions and rearrange things. But from what I'm told, it did work back then.
I agree, because I remember when we had area superintendents, and I think it worked as a well-oiled machine. These new cadre director things or whatever, I'm not sure why that came about, but the area superintendent thing did work fine, in my opinion. Yeah, but that's just. Right.
I don't know enough about it to speak on that. I went to school in Dade County.
You guys had area superintendents too.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So, tell us, do you have any other questions? Because I'm going to ask him how he could be reached, and, if people want to talk to him, volunteer at his campaign, donate some moolah.
Mm-hmm.
All that.
So do I have any comments?
What I'm supposed to bother about that lottery money get into the schools, right? That's the reps and the
schools. Okay. I heard that last week. I heard that last week.
Because when I was in school, they convinced people to vote for the lottery so the schools to get more money. And I'm like, the schools have less money than they did when I was in school, because we had all those programs when I went to public school. So
we be going with the state reps and the state senators.
Somebody need to talk to them about that lottery money, because they tricking folks,
They talk to Marie Woodson. She'll get things done.
Yes, Marie is all about that lottery money. We're gonna make sure we talk. Marie's one of our favorites, so we gotta make sure we call her. She gets it done, girl. She takes care of business.
Yeah, she does. She
She's serious about her constituents. She ain't playing.
So she helps any way she can help. Yeah, she's very
everybody. So Rod, tell us where you can be reached. How can people send you some money? Like, what we doing?
So,
do they get a t-shirt or something?
You don't have to live in. I'll give you a t-shirt. I'll give you a sign. Look, I have a bus, all right, with my picture all over it. So when you see that bus, you can stop me and honk at me. I got t-shirts in there. I got yard signs. I got banners.
All right.
Okay.
From the help of my people.
All right. That's right. Choskeys. We want Choskeys, honey. We want Choskeys.
So if you go to voteforvelez.com, and that's
number
the number
4 FOR. The number 4.
Vote for the number 4. The number 4. So if you go to Vote for Velez, I have everything on there. I have issues, topics that I change periodically because it's constantly evolving and changing. My phone number's on there, my email, my Facebook. Everything is on there. And if you want to donate, I tell people you don't have to live in my district to donate. You can live across I've had people in other states donate to my campaign. So it helps. I need the money. It's not, I buy t-shirts. Like I said, I buy the yard signs. I'm trying to make people aware that there's voting going on August 23rd. So come out and vote for Velez.
That's the last day you can vote for him. The last day, because there's early voting. That's the last day.
Early voting is on the 20th, I believe, or no, wait,
the 13th or something like that.
The 13th through the 20th or something like that.
Yeah.
So they can go and I actually have a QR code on my bus that they can scan to see if they're registered to vote. They can see where their polling station is at. Early polling is in their area. So I have that on my bus as well. And it buys my yard signs with the date on it. I just want to get people out to vote. August is a low voting turnout in this area, especially on a non-presidential year. Normally it's 14%, I believe, on a presidential year. And so it's even lower this year because, we just have the governor and the judges coming up. So I'm trying to win this thing in August. I don't want to wait till November. I don't want to waste any time. I want to be able to start, wrapping my head around these policies that need to be changed, that are old. We just have to fix things. And I want to do it with all my constituents.
And you're on all social media platforms?
Yes.
And it's just Rod Velez on all social media platforms?
So if you go to my Facebook, I have everything on there. The Instagram, I even have a TikTok, but I never post anything on it. But
you gotta post those.
I gotta get my
looking like that.
but I don't want them to do a challenge on me, like, hey, let's do a TikTok challenge where we, maybe egg the Velez bus or something. I don't know. These kids are crazy out there. So
don't do that.
I don't want to give them any ideas.
Right.
Ideas. So listen, the supervisor election has revamped all the early voting sites. So please go to the Broward SOE website because that has been revamped. He's added some places. He's changed some places. So it's important that you go to see the updated early voting sites.
Locations.
Locations. Thank you. Locations. So please make sure you go to www.browardsoe.org. You can find information about all the candidates, including Mr. Velez here, and learn about the new places, the new areas, the new locations that the supervisor of elections has taken his time. He's really put a lot of thought into it to make sure that he can grasp as many people as possible to vote early. So it's very, very important that you guys check that out.
Early voting packets. Yeah.
Early voting packets. All of that. Yeah. All of that. So
you have to request it like every couple of years now, right?
Yes, you have to. I think it's every year though now, sis. I think it's
I think it's every year. They're trying to make it harder for everybody to vote.
I think it's every year. So just check your voting status, make sure you got your thing. It's every year now. So voteforvelez.com. Rod, thank you so much for coming and joining us and hanging out. Thank you for answering the questions. Thank you for letting people see your heart and your vision for District 1. We wish you nothing but luck. Okay. And please, like co-host always says, you can forego that $5 coffee at Starbucks and you can go ahead and donate to a candidate who is out for the people. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Give them the $5,
thank you.
$10, whatever that makes a difference. So go ahead and support your local candidates and help Mr. Velez get to that finish line in August. You don't want to wait till November. Okay. He said
August 23rd. Let's get it done. Let's finish this race. And I want to thank you ladies for having me again. As always, it's a pleasure.
Anytime. All right, Mr. Velez.
Thank you.
See you
top
of the top of the mountain.
Bye.
All right. So we will do our wrap up sometime this week in the morning,
Okay, we can do that.
Because we still got to talk about what's going on in Texas and
a lot of stuff going on in Texas.
And the town.
And Johnny Depp won.
He got his little $15 million.
What? I saw something that said it was 10. So I don't even know what the number is. I saw something that said it was 10.
She got $2 million.
I think it said the thing I saw said it was 10. I don't know if he got more, but
bottom line is he won.
He won.
And and what did Amber hear? Because they said her name is Amber Heard. She heard something. Well, what did she hear?
She heard that she gotta pay that man his money.
I hate to laugh, but when you look at it, why are you lying like that? Why do you go up there and lie like
that? And that lying like that's she messed it up for a whole bunch of folks, right? Because you don't want to really believe victims, and then when you have somebody that's all sophisticated with the lies like that, it really makes folks give true victims the side eye because
it does. Yeah. And she tried to come out and say it was something like, "Oh, this is the wrong thing for victims," but you made that worse.
You caused that, girl.
That wasn't us. That wasn't
that
like
was you. Yes.
And it bothers me. So we have to talk about it. It bothers me that type of thing causes another thing for other.
It affects other folks. Yeah,
I know women personally that thought that was treated like they were lying and they weren't.
Yeah,
because of other women like her. Like, come on, man. But anyway, we'll talk about that. We still haven't talked about the thing seats from that one candidate.
Oh, access seating.
Access seat. I'm not about it.
Oh, so we should just let's hop on and do like how we was that last Thursday that we did that video that they kind of okay. Yeah. It was either last Thursday or the one before. So let's just do something like that tomorrow and and target those two issues. We'll talk about the Texas, we'll talk about access seat, and we'll talk about this verdict and how it, how it's going to have long-standing effects, right? And again, and we're not really talking all about what he said, but that whole bullying situation is a real big deal, right? Because there's all these anti-bullying campaigns to telling kids don't bully folks, don't do this, don't do that, and I'm like, the grown-ups are the biggest bullies in the street,
Okay.
So, like how are you going to tell kids not to do something that you're doing yourself, right? I'm not saying you personally, but that's one of those things, right? And I remember like when I was growing up, how parents used to say like, don't do as I say, not as I do, right? Like that's what they always say, do as I say, not as I do. But when I tell you it's what you do is what's really leaving the impression, it's what you do. Forget the words out of your mouth, right? Like, and if the words are not supported by or backed up by actions, they're not going to do what the words coming out your mouth. They're going to do what it is that they see you do, right? And an example for me, like I remember my mom was a straight workaholic. She retired now, but straight workaholic, used to work day, night, all of that, right? And I remember I was like, I ain't gonna work like this lady, because my mom worked in housekeeping. I was like, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna go get me a degree so I don't gotta work as hard as this woman. Please, I'm a workaholic too. You know what I'm saying? And I have degrees and all that stuff, but I still work all the time. So it's not even about like having like more education, having more access to doing a different type of work. I just saw this lady working all the time. And when I'm not working, I was like, oh my God, I'm a bum. What am I doing with my time? How am I sitting around the house? I need something to do. So, so it's what you see. And I saw a hardworking woman. And even though, again, I don't work. I work hard. I just work different kind of hard, but I still work all the time too, So it's what you see. So we can't be out here trying to tell these kids don't bully people, and the grown-ups out here bullying people, It's like,
it be the grown-ups, though. It be the grown-ups.
It's the grown-ups, man. They're setting a horrible example for these young kids.
And then they just take it to such a petty level, and they wonder why they do. They wonder why children do what they do. So
right. And you remember you sent me, I think it was you that sent me, I don't know if you sent me the video or I saw it, where this little boy talking about like when he grew up, he wants to be a murderer. That boy don't even understand what that means. I'm like, homie, do you know if you grow up to be a murderer, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison or be on death row? That is not a goal. Like that is not a life goal, and that's not a job.
And that child, by the way, it's a circulating. That child, by the way, looked like they were in first and second grade. So that only for me, that only means that these parents that have
these adults, maybe not his parents, but some adults was talking that nonsense in front of
not only for him, but then it also goes to show you that these school shooters, parents who say, "Oh, we didn't know," I don't believe it. And in the law, it's the standard is not what you know, it's what you should have known. Also, it's like known or should have known. And if they didn't know, they should have known like what was going on with their kids. Exactly. So please, exactly. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow in the day. We'll figure it out. And you can always catch us on the flip side when you see it, because it won't be long. It's just a wrap up that we do.
Yeah, but hopefully we say that and then we'll be talking for 45 minutes. So hopefully we'll try to keep it like 30.
It'd be a lot. A lot.
So you know how I said I'll be working a lot? So I got another job that's about to start in 7 minutes. So I gotta get off. I gotta get off this live.
We'll see y'all. We'll see y'all.
Mañana, probably most
Monday.
likely tomorrow.
Monday.
We'll wrap up tomorrow.
Yeah. All right.
All righty.
Monday. All right.